Hi, René here. The stunning sound improvement which the line audio power chords had added to my setup deviled me to dig out my showpieces of old, and I was not only not disappointed, I was overwhelmed how much of their potential I had missed, which now came forth and overpowered me. In this video, I'm going to introduce a bunch of them, and especially the one to fall for most easily. I hope you don't flee my channel in a hurry when you learn that these CDs contain only Chinese music. Don't let the word fright you off, because this genre does not necessarily mean sugary China restaurant or elevator music or the parodies of it that you may hear at a carnival parade. Quite on the contrary, it is an all-in-one miracle and stretches from romantic, often intoxicating melodies to the orchestral impact of a Mahler symphony or the rumble of Japanese koto drummers. You can enjoy instruments and sound colors which no Occidental orchestra will ever present. And for this reason alone, Chinese music is a treasure trove and a never-ending pasture for a super high-end rendering of sounds which you have never heard before. And in saying so, I do not necessarily mean those incredible artists who can play wonderful tunes simply on 2 reed grass leaves, or who can elicit complete melodies from a simple handsaw like this guy here. And even the most commonly used instruments will outperform those from an Occidental orchestra in their stunning richness of tones and overtones. Okay, I concede that this alone is not a sufficient reason to accept my recommendation when you have a totally different musical taste. Until you come to acknowledge the second ace in my sleeve, which is the divine recording quality of these CDs. And that being said, you know what label I'm talking about? Hugo Productions from Hong Kong. When I was in Hong Kong in 1993, I randomly bought a bundle of CDs, among them these 2 samplers, which I bought to get a first overview, and some of these freshly baked Hugo CDs, and I totally fell in love with the world of Chinese instruments and sounds. I even came back a year later and increased my collection. Today it's much easier, you order online. This is the Hugo catalog. I found it in the internet, but I don't know if it's up to date. Some items might be out of stock. From the AUDIOPHILE series, I only own number 2 and number 3. As a gateway drug, I do recommend number 3. For 30 years I have been using it for testing all scopes of high-end devices. On the JPC website you can hear samples of it, unfortunately very short ones, so they do not necessarily reflect the overall character of the pieces, which tend to change speed, mood and instruments all the time. Believe me, when a setup manages to flawlessly reproduce all the instruments which are presented in the instrumental guide to the Chinese orchestra, you can purchase blindly. It will never fail with any other kind of music, because it has passed the endurance test already. The warning: this CD consists of extreme dynamics. These may damage your equipment. Use safe volume at initial playback is more than justified. Some showpieces, like the red flag canal, give you the deceptive impression that they have reached their peak already, when suddenly a Chinese obelisk, after a run-up of 3 to 4 meters, unexpectedly smashes his Hinkelstein onto a submarine-sized drum. That's it. Game over. The lights go out, the smoke detector strikes, and you're going to have a lot of hassle. Moon reflection in Arc 1 can also easily fool you, because towards the end it is building up higher and higher levels, and when you start it at a too high volume, you have to pull the ripcord with your remote. Still Clouds and a Solitary Crane is a melodic ballad-like synthesizer piece which gives you a stunning three-dimensional illusion, and it is a masterpiece from the mixing console. Besides, it showcases a bass which lifts you up, shakes you airborne, and drops you again, provided you have a subwoofer, or even better, a pair. As far as I am concerned, I can come to terms with only 4 as well. Endless Way is a cello concerto that combines melting, dream-like melodies with impressive, weird and wild wind instruments attacks backed by delicate percussion. I don't know any Occidental cello concert on par with it. The recordings of 2 modern children's choirs reveal easily where the groups join in or stop in the canon, and the sibilants produced by the kids for fun are razor sharp. Finally, there are convincing samples of a Glazunov concerto for violin, Stravinsky's Firebird Suite, and a solo piano piece which is excellent for testing loudspeakers and their abilities to genuinely depict a grand piano. As a special treat, I would like to mention the lovingly composed booklets and the incredibly generous runtime of about 70 minutes. Further top CDs I can recommend are Chinese percussion music, unpretentiously titled Drums, an ultimate collection of artfully arranged, sophisticated earthquakes. From the series Chinese bowed string instruments, Legends of Galaxine Grassland stands out with its erhu concertos. Erhu is the Chinese equivalent to the violin. The Dagger Society suite from traditional Chinese orchestra music can even be found on YouTube for free. And the Terracotta Warriors CD contains the showpiece Moon Reflection in Arc 1, which I have already mentioned. The sister company, HK, is also fine, but most recordings are not as painstakingly recorded as the Hugo line. I hope I could whet your appetite to try some Chinese music. If not, thank you for bearing with me till the end. Goodbye.